Hello and happy Sunday. Welcome to another broadcast of Open Pagan Church. And wow, am I off on my timing this morning? Anyway, yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Hope this finds you doing okay this morning. Been doing some major work on the network and on the servers since Friday, so I seriously lost track of time. Yeah, excuse me. Right. And what are we talking about? Hmm? Short day. Right. All done. Bye bye. No, kidding. Um, what makes you? What makes you who and what you are? Um, what happens to you as time goes by that makes you who and what you are? Well, um, you hear nature versus nurture. You hear cause and effect. You hear environmental. You hear society. You hear self imposed changes and issues and things that make you who you are. But what makes you who you are? Does religion make you who you are? Does the lack of religion make you who you are? Does spiritualism make you who and what you are? Does lifestyle or does who you are make your lifestyle? Does who you have become cause you to make changes in your lifestyle? Good afternoon and good morning. Or is it not all the above? Um, I happen to think that it may be all the above. Good morning, Witchy Woo. Welcome. I'm going to play with the lights here a minute because it looks like my adjustments are off a bit. Ah, that's much better. The long arm of the back scratcher. Man, let me tell you what, these things are better for everything along with and aside of back scratching. So our conversation is what makes you? Well, what makes you who and what you are? Other than obvious skin and blood and hair and all the rest of it. What makes you? Well, I've had conversations with Christian theologians in the past that says God makes you who and what you are. Well, I disagree with that. I don't disagree with the gods, God and goddess, whoever you follow, has a little bit of input. I don't disagree that um, spirit guide, whatever you may follow, has a bit of shove and give and take. But I believe more than anything else that cause and effect, society, environmental input, mostly, really makes us who we are. Do we have a choice of who we are? I believe we do. I believe we have a choice of who we become once we reach a certain point. And this brings up a real good point that I wanted to make is when we're children, we really don't have a whole lot of control. When we are children, we are under the wings of our parentals, whether they're biological parents, adopted parents, um, no parents to those unfortunate few that were raised in orphanages, but there's nothing wrong with that. It does have a big input, a big influx on who they are and who they become. But as children, as kids, we really don't have a whole lot of input as to our environment, how we're raised, how we perceive things until we start getting old enough to form our own opinions, till we start getting old enough to, I sort of have a say in what's going on. But therein lies the topic for discussion. The $1 million question has always been when when do you or I or anyone else become of age to start making the choices to be who we're going to be? Now, anybody that knows me already knows I have already a philosophy on this. I've already come up with a self answer on this. I'd just like to see everybody else's input. But at what age do you think um, you can start making decisions about how your environment is going to have an effect on you? What age do you think you can step up and say, no, my environment did this, this, and this, but I don't like that, so I'm going to change it? Or my environment did this, this, and this for me. I'm going to I'm going to knock my coffee cup over. This is why I use spill-proof coffee cups. I'm clumsy. Although spill-proof coffee cups only work when the damn things are closed. But it still wasn't as bad as it would have been. Anyway, I digress. So let's see. What do we got? Well, I have 14. Yeah. 14 is a good age. First conscious decision. Yep. Um, yeah, that was coffee abuse, wasn't it? Hmm. Anyway, close the lid. Told you guys, man, I'm a computer tech, and lesson one of computer tech: never use spillable fluids around computers. Anyway, where was I? I digress. It's easy to derail me these days. So, my philosophy on when is a human being old enough to start making their own decisions about their own, who they're going to become, what they're going to be. My thought on the subject matter is And you may think I'm a little off, but that's okay. My thought is whenever, whenever. I have seen, good morning. I've seen kids 10 years old, 10, 11, 12 years old, make a conscious decision to not follow the environmental influxes, if you will, of their own society in which they were raised. Case in point, back when I used to teach computer classes for HUD down in South Central Texas in Beaumont. Actually, that would have been Southeast Texas, wouldn't it? When I taught computer classes in Beaumont, I knew a number of people that lived in what we call Fourth Ward in the housing communities. And I met young boys and young girls all of the time who wanted to change their outcome, where they were headed. Of course, a lot of your um, housing projects, whether you are um, white, African American, Hispanic, whatever, it's an equal opportunity beatdown for all races and all lifestyles. So I watched a number of these kids make make the decision to make the change to not be who their environment was pushing them to be, such as gangbangers, people who, end up in prison for robbery, murder, rape, whatever. These kids were making the choice, making the conscious decision not to follow in that society footsteps. And some of the kids I listened to were 10, 11, and 12 years old. Vape alert. So, and then I've seen people um, that have come through the HOP that are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that have still not made the decision to change where their environment sent them on the road to. Well, and I mean, we still have we still have this essence of we have to make choices every day, every minute, every hour of every day of our lives from the time we're born until the time we die. We have choices. We have decisions. Some of those decisions come back and bite us hard in the keister. Some of those decisions lift us up and propel us forward in some good things and happiness and what have you. Some of the decisions are a little bit of both. A little bit of bad with a little bit of good. Sounds like a song somewhere, maybe. Anyway, what makes you who you are, I am a firm believer, is cause and effect and decisions, choices. We have choices. And one of the things that, I've said before on this channel is we tell our daughter all the time, we give you the tools to use in society. We give you the honor, the raising. We give you yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, thank you, please. We give you the tools to get an education, to be a good person, whatever that may be, whatever the definition of be a good person is. We give you the tools. What you do with those tools once you go out that door to your little friend's house or a party or wherever you're going, what you do with those tools is up to you. We have told her this since she was 5. We've always tried to teach her right from wrong. But when she was 5 and started heading out the door by herself, so she thought, to go over to her little friend's house, and one of us is peeking out the window. Do you see her? Yep, I see her. Did she make it? Yep, she made it okay. All right, cool. Um, she was on her own, so she thought. But at what point do you think we reach a plateau? Now, this is the question that I've always um, wanted input on. Do you think that at some point we as human beings reach a plateau, a blockage, where we just simply are who we're going to be and we're not going to change? We are who we are, and that's just it, and we're not going to change. Do you think that's a human thing, or do you think that's an individual thing? I already know what I think, but I'm interested in what you guys think. Is Witchy Woo says no. Okay. Debbie says for some, yes, for others, no. Right? Agreed. Depends on our gifts and why we're here. Right, Dave? Debbie, individual? Witchy says totally, it's a choice still. Completely agree. Individual. Good morning, Brittany. Um, Body, life, choice, come, right? And see, here's the thing. I completely agree that every day we have choices. Do I do the right thing? What is the right thing? You know, the right thing or the wrong thing is as open to interpretation as should I do it, should I not? Um, I have a hair that is jacking with my eyeball. Anyway, so let's think about it for a second. We know, or we agree, yeah, right? We agree that the choice to change who or what we are resides within you, me, us, as human beings, up until the day we die, right? Now, I will admit at 57, at 57, that I find myself becoming more set in my ways in some aspects, if you will. I find myself becoming less tolerant of drama. Well, I've always been less tolerant of drama, but I'm even less tolerant nowadays. But let's think about something. Let's draw some parallels, shall we? Well, yeah, I understand where you're going. Um, there are things that happen. Um, um, what senility, Alzheimer's, dementia. I could go on and on and on. Um, Issues with mental, physiological, physical issues that remove that choice from us. There are things that happen in life that remove that choice from us for us to grow and continue to change and evolve who are and are what we are. I completely understand that. But in the eventuality that um, those lucky enough to go all the way through to their dying years, to have those choices, to have those mental faculties, to be able to make those changes. I've seen people in their 70s, in their 80s, make life changing choices to change who they are, to change who and what they are and where they're going. Now, I completely agree. Life gets in the way, um, shit happens, life happens, and we tend to get lost, if you will. We get hung up in certain variables. And there are certain diseases and events and things that happen that are seriously outside of our control that take that control away from us. But where I wanted to go, uh, kind of where I wanted to take that, was let's think about um, addicts. Okay, I am um, I am a recovered drug addict and alcoholic from 1982. Last time I did any form of drug, other than medications, of course. Last time I did any form of drug was 1982. Last time I took a drink of an alcoholic beverages was 1982. Since 84, I never looked back. I didn't want it, didn't need it. The smell of it doesn't bother me. Being around people that do it doesn't bother me. But in that period of time in my early 20s, I was headed down and I was headed down fast. Life events helped me to make the life changing choices that I needed to change. Now I would like to say, I would like to say that 82, 3, let's see, 82, 83, 84, and 85, that 4 year span right there, made me who I am today. Nope, no. It did help me get on the road. Um, it opened my mind up. It started me to questioning the social Judeo Christianic philosophy and not putting them down because we do have Christians that watch our broadcast. But it started me to question the Judeo Christian philosophy of one God, one Jesus, my Savior, blah, blah. And I started realizing um, influenced choices, yes. Kind of where I'm going. Influenced choices, okay? Um, an influenced choice, cause and effect. You're driving along, you're texting, somebody slams on their brakes in front of you, eek, and you rear end an automobile. Influenced choice. You had the choice to pick up the device. Well, the cause and effect influenced an accident. And we could go off a million different variables on that thought process. But to put on the road, when we're younger, we do things, and a lot of times we think we're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. I know when I was younger, practicing martial arts, teaching self defense, and some of the other things that I was involved in, was very active. Um, very active, lifted weights, worked out all the time. Of course, you couldn't tell it looking at me now. My six pack turned into a keg is the biggest joke I have. But getting put on the road to where I am now, I have found, and I want to see what you guys think about this next statement, but I have found on an average of every 5 to 10 years, something catastrophic happens in my life to cause a major life shift, a major life change. And it averages about every 5 to 10 years. Now that's for me. I've noticed through my life, especially since I become a young adult, and I got married the first time at dead up 18. 18? Yeah, 18. Yeah. And it lasted a whopping year and a half, I think. But as I have meditated, not medicated, I know some of you will go there. As I've meditated through the years, looking back on my own physical regressions and taking myself back, looking at the choices I've made that have come up to make me who I am. And when I'm getting ready for these topics and stuff that we cover here on Open Pagan Church, I like to meditate a couple of days prior on where counsel and where Spirit Guide wants me to go with it. Now, trust me, they will change my mind 4 or 5 times between then and actual broadcast. But looking back at the choices I made, looking back at the things that I did and the things that I didn't do, and those are just as important, sometimes more so, as the things that we do. The choices that I made not to do certain things had, in some ways, very catastrophic outcomes, either catastrophically good or catastrophically bad, or every variable in between, has helped make me who I am. But is it not the same for yourself? Now, granted, we have all age groups that watch our broadcast. Everyone, I know my youngest viewer is 13. And I don't know how old my oldest viewer is. I have no clue how old my oldest viewer is. Maybe whoever my oldest viewer is will PM me and let me know. right? Which he says about every 5 years there's a significant event or a decision which affects, yep. Yeah. So I think here is a rhetorical question. Now, of course, we're 30 minutes into the hour. And those of you that may be watching us for the first time, I like to spend the first half hour blocking out where we're going and coming up with some philosophical ideas. And then I like to spend the latter part of that hour, if we go an hour, sometimes we go a little more. I like to go down a little bit different road with a couple of questions. Dave says, I'm your oldest viewer. I don't think so, Dave. Debbie, I think you just got through with one hell of a catastrophic change, dear, that sent you through a whirlwind of what the hell. Yeah, what I'm saying. So what about this? And I want to toss a bit of food for thought out there. I quit smoking tobacco, and no, I don't smoke weed. It's still illegal. I quit smoking tobacco in 2009. Okay. Um, I started vaping in '09 and never went back. I quit drinking and doing drugs in '82. And the last checkup I had with my doctor sometime prior, they wanted to do a check in on my lungs and see how they were doing. When I was 30, I was diagnosed with the beginning of black lung. And anybody that knows what black lung is, it's pretty nasty. I still have some effects from that. But there's not one thing that we do that is done for us, that is done to us, that we do for or to others. And a lot of people don't realize this. There is not one singularity that happens to perpetuate cause and effect. Any takers on that? I'll say that again. There's not there's not one singularity that happens that influences cause and effect. Now, I realize what I just said is more or less a paradoxical term, if you will, or an oxymoronic statement. But when we're talking about what makes you, the choices you've made younger, when you were younger, the choices you've made today, the choices you might have made yesterday, the choices you may have made 10 minutes ago that causes a major change or a major influx on what may happen to you tomorrow, 10 minutes from now, 30 minutes from now. Um, let's think of some things. Witchy, you're right. It's a trick question. Yeah, it's a trick question. Well, let's think about it. What do we have? We have decisions, right? Decisions are choices. And to me, I am a firm believer that the word decisions and the word choices are simple semantics. Two different words that essentially mean the same thing. And no, I'm not going to go look them up on the dictionary. If y'all want to, y'all can do that. So let's say decisions, um, cause and effect, right? Momentum caused by someone else's effect, right? Things happen to us because we get caught up in someone else's. And that's what I meant a while ago when I said momentum caused by someone else's effect. We get hung up in this thing, and the whole time we're trying to juggle. We're trying to juggle all of these thoughts and ideas and events, and you know, I got to juggle the fact that I'm getting low on vape with the fact that I may have to charge my batteries, with the fact that I might want to vape, with the fact that I may need to charge my phone, with the fact that I'm getting low on coffee, with the fact that I may need to clean my mouse, with the fact, all of this stuff that I've got to juggle, and I haven't even gotten into working for a living, paying a bills, helping take care of my parents, helping take care of my wife when she gets ill, helping take care of my daughter, helping take care of myself, helping take care of, helping take care of, and well, helping take care of. And granted, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that has to go through this. I'm not the only one that has to juggle choices and cause and effect and decisions and anxieties and emotions and temper and fears and you know, on and on and on. What makes you who you are? I can answer that in one word. Well, yeah, one word. I so suck in English. What makes you who you are? One word. Anybody? Anybody? Bueller, 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 Bueller? Anybody? What makes you who you are? Which he says is like stepping into the river current, trying to. Yeah, you got that right. Um, no, not just you. You are not really what makes you who and what you are. You have the decisions. You have the choices. No, not me. It's not just me that makes me who and what I am, right? Granted, like Witchy said, and like Debbie said, you and me is some, but that's not exactly what I'm looking for. It's bigger than that. One word, bigger than that. Ready? Everything. Anybody not hear that? Everything. Everything, everyone, every time, every place. Everything makes you who and what you are. Your decision to act or react on that everything, everyone, every place, that your decision of how you act is up to you. But whether or not it affects you is not up to you. Think about it. Mind blown. Didn't have enough coffee for that conclusion. Well, yeah, I get it. You are correct. And I agree. Not that I'm telling you you're correct in your interpretation, but let's think about it. I have no choice as to whether or not a tornado blowing through or by our home, whether or not it affects me. I have no choice in the effect of that tornado. Therefore, I have been affected by something for which I have no control that can change the who and what I am rather abruptly. I have no choice whether it rains or shines. I have no choice whether it's cold or hot. I also have no choice whether or not some drunk ding dong drives through, pray they don't, but drives through the property and takes out the automobiles or drives through the house. Uh, here in um, Here in north central Texas, we hear all the time of people driving through people's homes, people getting robbed, people getting killed, people getting maimed, people getting raped by other people getting mugged by other people, things happening to people. They're in the wrong place at the wrong time that affects who and what you are that you have absolutely no control over. You're sitting in traffic, you're listening to the radio, you're moving with traffic, and all of a sudden, wham! Somebody slams into the ass end of your car. You had no control over that. Everything. Now, yes, I can pinpoint that atom all the way down to the smaller tip end of these scissors. And I can say, and I can enforce, and I can make a good argument that says I have control over my reaction to the cosmotic actions. I'll say that again. I can say that I have control over my actions to the cosmotic, or my reaction to the cosmotic actions. And I will hope somebody calls me on that bullshit. Because I just said it and my own bullshit meter went clear off the scale. There are some things, ladies and gentlemen, you simply have absolutely no control over that will and can, in many cases, change who and what you are. Now, on a more simplistic philosophy, wow, that one went clear up into the yellow. Okay. I didn't realize my mic gain was as high as it is. All right. Well, all right. Readjusted that, didn't I? And of course, chat's on the back end. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Whether you're talking about the microcosm or the macrocosm, and if you don't know what a micro or a macrocosm is, look it up. Whether you're talking about the atom or matter or antimatter, or the crap that matters or the crap that don't matter, whether you're talking about driving down the road blindfolded, I don't recommend you do that, or whether you're driving down the road eyes wide shut, I don't recommend you do that either, or whether you're walking in the belly of a snake's pit, don't recommend you do that either. But let's think about the simplicity of what I just said, right? How many people do we know, sometimes myself included, how many people do we know that walk through life, right, with blinders on or with eyes wide shut? How many people do we know that walk through life with eyes wide shut? Better than that, who watches our broadcast, both live and pre-recorded, who can admit that they have at times walked through life eyes wide shut? Yes, myself included on some aspects. Totally agree. But does that, or does that not, have an effect, either directly or indirectly? Does that or does that not have a cause or an effect, either directly or indirectly, on who and what you are? Dave, I wasn't going to go there, but okay, yep, I agree. Um, Debbie says sometimes it's a protective mechanism. Absolutely. 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 So, I digress. Yeah. Well, so on the downside, right? As we wind down our conversation, which has been a really good one. Thank you for your input. The simplicity, and I want to reel it all back to a philosophical, simplistic ideology for a moment, right? Everything, everything in one way, shape, form, or fashion can have an effect on who and or what we become. Yeah, I understand that too. But I'm one of those people that likes to watch the news. I just like to watch the news. Guess that makes me a bit of a, what do you call it? Well, I just like to watch the news. I think I more like to watch the weather than I do. Well, no, I like the news. Yeah, not even going to go down that road. Um, but simplistically put, if we stop, and my most popular power word when doing counseling, when doing healing, when doing philosophical pagan ideologies, when having pagan ideological conversations, and things start to get out of control, my most favorite word is stop. Stop the momentum, stop the anger, stop the anxiety, stop the fear, stop the cause and effect, stop doing whatever I'm doing because I can't really actually control what you're going to do, but I can control what I'm going to do. I can control, I hope, my cause to your effect, or my effect to your cause, my action to your reaction, or to my actions that may cause your reaction. You see where I'm going. So everything in one way, shape, form, or fashion can make us who and what we are. And my first really good manager that I had in the auto parts way, way back in the 80s used to tell me, keep it simple, stupid. Kiss it, Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. And he was absolutely right. The simplicity of it all is I have a choice whether or not I act or react. I have decisions whether or not I do or don't do. I have emotions. Whether or not I choose to act or react on those emotions is up to me. Things that Mother Earth does and her poor people on it, what is it they always say? Bless their heart. I can't control what they're going to do. I don't even try. The best I can hope for is my actions or reactions to whatever their actions or inaction is not to join the chaos. The things that make you who and what you are, well, when you were a kid, you didn't have a whole lot of choice. And there are things that will happen to you as an adult that you may not have a whole lot of choice on. But let me leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen. As always, we're here to make a difference. Um, House of Pagans, Open Pagan Church, the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, the other groups that I am associated with. We're just here to make a difference. It's up to you whether or not you decide to go along with, interact with, and make a difference as well. So, as always, our archives are on YouTube, Tumblr, and Pinterest. Also, we have Live with the Shaman starting at 11 a.m. Central Time over on hashtag Live with the Shaman. We want to thank you for watching Open Pagan Church. We'll see you next week right here with a mind twisting, boggling topic for which we hope there is many inputs. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. See you next time right here.